Hello, everyone, and we got to talk about this even though I just spent an hour and a half talking about it on my stream. But the SEC and the mighty Gary Gensler has sued Binance and CZ. And CZ is stepping down as CEO and someone else is stepping up. But not really. I don't think that's really what's happening. He's formally stepping down from his role, but this is just like Vladimir Putin stepping down from his role and letting Minlev actually be president for 4 years. Kind of like that, I still think he'll be the power behind the throne. But either way, they're suing both Binance.com and Binance.us. You might be asking, how the hell are they suing Binance.com? They don't operate within the United States. Well, they're saying that Binance.com did not actually do enough to prevent US users from using it. Now, you have to do KYC AML on Binance.com, but people can lie and they can also use VPNs to fool Binance into thinking that they're not from the United States. But my reasoning is if people are doing that, then Binance should not be held liable because their rules are up front. And if you're using VPNs, you're obviously saying that we don't really want the SEC's protection. And they should be able to, and I don't think you should charge Binance.com for that because they're not saying that, okay, we'll allow US customers. It's just really hard for them if you use a good VPN to tell if you're from the US or not. And people can lie on the KYC stuff. And Binance did actually have a pretty decent KYC process last time I used it, which is a while ago. So that is what I have to say about Binance, and I don't think .com should actually be sued at all. US, they might actually have a case here, but the list of coins that they say are securities on Binance.us is very long, and just because the SEC says something is a security does not actually mean it's a security, folks. Does not mean it's a security just because the SEC says it's a security. And the list is actually fairly long on what they think is a security. Right now it is BNB, BUSD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algo, Axie Infinity, and Cody. And I think they'll add more to that list because the SEC thinks everything's a security besides Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum. But there are bills in Congress to actually nullify that or somehow change that. And the SEC does not actually have judicial authority because the judges haven't ruled on any of this stuff to actually call everything authority. Call everything a security, but we all know that they're trying to do enforcement by, basically like regulation by enforcement, which is not very popular with the crypto community. I also think that this is the SEC's last trump card because they've tried to sue everything else. They didn't bring the crypto market down, so they're trying to sue the biggest dog out there. But this is a very, very big risk for the SEC as well. They have several lawsuits out. If they lose any of those lawsuits, I think it would be very, very bad for the SEC itself because it'll ruin their aura of invincibility. If they lose this one, if they lose the Coinbase staking one, if they lose the Ripple lawsuit, or if they lose the Grayscale lawsuit for the BTC ETF, I think things will start cascading for them and the SEC will lose a lot of power. And I'm just praying that one of those things happens. And looking at the judges in those cases, they do not seem too pleased with the SEC. So I think there's a high chance that the SEC will lose one or many of those lawsuits. So overall, I am bullish on this because the SEC, I think, is biting off way more than can chew suing all these things. And I think Gensler knows this as well. I think Gensler knows that he's going to eventually lose one of these lawsuits, probably very soon. So he's probably trying to get as many settlements, as much money as possible from these organizations before he's no longer allowed to sue them. Because as soon as Congress says the SEC has to set out like a clear-cut plan for crypto, I think they're going to lose a lot of power. If Congress passes that bill that says like all cryptos, if they're adequately decentralized, aren't securities, they're going to lose a lot of that power as well. So they're making this time, best use of this time to get as much money and authority as they can. But I think Congress will eventually shut them down because the pro-crypto faction in Congress is growing faster than the anti-crypto faction in Congress. But they've sued Binance. We've gone down 1,000 points. Now, in terms of what I think the market is, I would actually wait a day or two to actually buy, because I think the most that can happen on the other side is we bounce back up to 27K. The worst, might be able to go down to like 24, 25K, and then we'll bounce back up. So if you wait a day or two, you might be able to buy in for a lot cheaper, and buying in for like 5-10% more isn't that big of a deal if we just bounce back. So if you're DCAing in, I still think that's the best strategy. Keep doing it. But if you're not DCAing, maybe wait for a day or two. That's just my opinion. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.